It's basically what I love to do. This is called Dupani, beautiful lace fabric, brocade, silks. I like the fancier fabrics. I want you to be happy with the finished product. I am presently making a dress for a client. Her name is Ashley. She's going to be joining her mom for her 50th birthday, and their theme is Roaring 20s. So in the Roaring 20s, they had like a lot of lace and poof and all that sort. And so what I'm doing now is hand sewing the lace onto the fabric of her dress. Beautiful lace fabric. And it's just called Dupani. This black fabric. It's very nice, stretched nicely. It's very wearable. It's not that type of fabric that will easily wrinkle and have you looking like a hot mess by the end of the night. So what I'm doing is just putting the lace on by hand. Then I'm going to join the pieces together to form the entire dress. So it's something I had to make an adjustment to. And so I'm adding sides, lace on the sides of the dress. At first I started to just do the bodice, the front and the back, but then I thought that it would look better because she's a plus size girl, which have a nice cap sleeve, and it wouldn't make her arms look very big. You know, what you try to do is camouflage as much as you can. And so we're going to put this piece on the side, and this is going to help us to be able to make that nice cap sleeve so her arms doesn't look, you know, they don't look like really crazy. It's a very easy process. Time consuming, but it's an easy process. Finish up the lace, and when I finish putting the lace on the side panel, then we're going to put the side panel onto the dress, and it will look like this. So we're going to have lace all the way around the dress. This is the front. And this is what I said was a cap sleeve. And the lace is so pretty because it's finished, the edge is finished, and it's a scalloped edge. Anytime it goes like this, it's called a scalloped edge. And that's going to be a decorative finish for the sleeve. The sleeve also has pleats in it. Rather than just a regular set-in sleeve, like this sleeve is a set-in sleeve, this sleeve is pleated. And it's going to have a little poof. Not a lot, but just a little poof. I think that when you're a plus size person, you have to be cognizant of what you wear. A lot of people will tell you one size fits all. No, it doesn't look good on everybody because it fits everybody. Everything that's out there is not for everybody, so you have to pick and choose what it is that's going to look right for you. I always tell my clients, if it doesn't look right, if I don't think it's going to look right on you, I'm going to tell you that. But if you insist on doing it, then I have to do what you asked me to do. But for the most part, I want you to be happy with the finished product. And so I'm going to give my opinion on what I think it should be. I'm not claiming to be an expert, so to speak, on who should wear what, but I do know behind the fact that I'm making something for you what will look good on you. I've been doing this for a very long time. So when I spoke with Ashley and I gave her some hints and tips, she agreed with me, and when she tried the dress on, her first fitting, she loved it. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the side seams, put the dress together, and we'll have our finished product, which we can see a little. This is just without the side seams. That's the front of the dress, and that's the back of the dress. And the back has an invisible zipper. So the invisible zippers are those zippers that are in the garment and you can't see it. So it really gives a clean finish. It depends on what you're going to be doing. And it's not necessarily that I would choose a garment for them. They will come to me with something in mind. I have a young lady who's getting married, and she's a lot different than most brides. Her dress is an Oscar de la Renta dress. She sent me a picture. Really out there. You know, I mean, it's super fantastic. I wish I could show you, but, you know, I can't. But it's really like out there. And the color that she chose is red. And she said, well, darling, you know that I'm different. I said, yeah, I know you are, but that dress is really hot. And it's a really nice dress. It's what you bring to me. And then we'll discuss that for your particular event. You know, what I do suggest are different fabrics. Sometimes a person will come to me with an idea for an outfit, and they'll have what they want to wear, where they're going to wear it to, and then they come up with some fabric that's not conducive to that particular outfit. Say, for instance, if you're going to a club type setting, and you want to have something on that's not going to wrinkle up all night, not a hot mess, I would not suggest that you wear linen to the club, because linen is a fabric that's very, it wrinkles very easily. So when I tell my people they're looking for fabrics, they go without me, is to do a fabric test, to do a wrinkle test. Take your fabric and boil it up in your hand, and then you let it go to see how the wrinkles are. You see how the wrinkles will fall right out. When you do that to linen, your wrinkles are there. When you wear linen for a while, the shape will be distorted, because that's just the nature of the beast of that fabric. But it all depends on what it is that you want to wear, what we're going to be putting together, where you're going to go with it, and then I'll give you suggestions. Even when you purchase a printed pattern, and a printed pattern would be some like Vogue patterns, Simplicity patterns, they'll give you suggestions on the envelope of what types of fabrics are best suited for that particular garment. So, you know, I take some of my suggestions from that, because like I said, I do use different pieces from different patterns to make what my client wants. And so sometimes I'll go to that and say, oh, this is more suitable for this type of thing. So, you know, that's the way that we do that. I don't just push my, what I want off on anybody. I work with what they're asking to try to come up with some good resolutions. The company's been in business since 2011 is when I actually started the website and all that kind of thing. And after much prayer and God doing like this to the back of my head for me to do it right, then I went LLC. And I had to switch my name up a little bit because somebody else had the name. Initially, for years, it was Made Especially for You. And when I went to go Made Especially for You LLC, someone else had that name. It's a company that does prosthetics. So I had to change my name, so now it's Made for You Especially instead of Made Especially for You. So I've been doing, like I said, I've been sewing for people ever since I was in school. And in high school, at the high school that I went to, Edison Tech in Elizabeth, every year the dress department had an annual fashion show. And my teacher knew that I was getting married when I got out of high school. You know, my wedding was already set up. And so she said to me, well, you know you're not going to make your mother buy your gown, right? So you're going to make that, and then you're going to model in the fashion show. So I said, okay. You know, I went to fabric stores in Elizabeth. We got discounts as students. And because they knew that I was getting married, they gave me some of the best fabrics ever. And I made my wedding gown. I had in the entire wedding, I had 13 bridesmaids, because I couldn't figure out just this friend, that friend, this friend. And I had 13 bridesmaids, my maid of honor. I had 6 flower girls, and my ring bearer. So I made his tux, I made my gown. Out of the 13 bridesmaids, I made 10 of their dresses because 3 of them sewed and they did their own. My maid of honor did her own. And I mean, it just took off from that. And then when my oldest daughter got married, I did her wedding from soup to nuts, everything. Her dress, the ring bearer's tux, the bridesmaids' dresses, the invitations, the bouquets, everything. Everything for her wedding, I did myself. I didn't have anybody help me to do it. I did it all. So, you know, I just love to do it. I just love to do it. And everything turned out fabulously. And I was very happy with it. She was happy with it. You know, and I got a lot of clientele from that. So I've been in business, I should say, since junior high school when I started sewing, because people kept asking me to do stuff. But legitimately and according to God's way, 2014. Yeah, 2014 is when I went LLC. A lot of people will call themselves designers. There's a difference between being a dressmaker and a designer or a seamstress. I do not call myself a designer, although if you send me a picture, which is what Ashley did for her dress, I can make it happen by putting different pattern pieces together. During the time that we were studying in high school pattern drafting, I was out at a different school, and so I missed that. So I never knew how to draw. I never knew how to draw. So my drawing is like really crazy. So I don't trust just my free hand to do it. So I'll take a basic pattern, and then I'll add to it what you want, and it always, thank God, comes out to what the person is asking me for. And I just like to use maybe a basic sheath pattern. A sheath is just a plain dress. It has no anything, no fancy things, no frills or none of that. It's just something basic. And when you take that basic dress, then you can start adding on a collar, you know, a sleeve, or a peplum or something like that. And the peplum is just a little, you know, a little flounce that goes around the waistline. A lot of people use that when you want to camouflage the waist, and you don't want that, you know, if you have a little pudge, you don't want anybody to really notice that pudge, so they'll look at that camouflage, which is that flounce or your peplum. I like doing handwork like this because it's very detailed. The little stitches that you use are slip stitches or back stitches, where you take the needle and put it in one way and wrap the thread around it and pull it through, and it's very invisible to the eye. It's a lot of intricate work that goes into a lot of lace work like this. So when you look at this, you won't even be able to tell that I've done anything by hand on it. If you could look here, where I had to stitch it in the back, so you can't even see. And then I'm stitching it here along the bottom to make a border. And so you can't even see where I'm stitching. You don't know where I started at. The idea behind the company is basically what I love to do. I always dreamed of being able to be home and just sew all day. I'm almost there, sewing all day, with the exception that I do have, you know, life gets in the way sometimes, and it's taken away a little bit. But I thank God that I was able to retire from my full-time job. I was a supervisor with the state of New Jersey. I worked for the state of New Jersey for 30 years. And so I decided it's time for me to venture out. You know, after much prayer and consideration of what's going on, I just went ahead and took that leap of faith, and here I am. So I'm doing what I love to do. I started sewing when I was in junior high school, following my aunt. My aunt, I love her so much. She used to sit with her girlfriends and talk about where they were going to go at, what party they were going to go to, or what ball they were going to go to. And back then she had a lot of friends that were gay, so they used to have all those galas and things, you know, at the Terrace Ballroom and at the Robert Treat, that kind of thing. And her girlfriends used to get all dialed up and go hang out with her friends. And she would talk to the girls, say, okay, well, we're going to go tomorrow at such and such a time. So then she said, well, girl, I don't have anything to wear. And so she said, you know what? I'm going to hook up something. So she would tell me, Nisi, come and go with me. And I would go with her to the fabric store, She'd go and pick out whatever fabric she liked for her garment, and she'd go home that day and make it tonight to wear tomorrow. And that impressed me because I would just sit there, watch her cut out and just piece things together. And it's marvelous to me, amazing how you take two pieces of nothing, it looks like, and when you get finished with it, it's a finished product that somebody could wear. And I watched her do this time and time again, and I thought, I'd like to do that. And my mom bought me my first sewing machine. I think I must have been about 12. And she told me, she said, you get this machine, you're going to use it. I said, yes, I'm going to use it. And ever since then, the bug has just been there for me to do it. I started making things for myself. I went into high school at Edison Tech in Elizabeth for dressmaking and design. And there, a whole new world opened up to me. People started asking me to make things for them, and I enjoyed that. So, I just like doing what I do. And here I am today, still doing what I do, and I love it. So I'm just here to do what I can do for you. The name of my company is Made for You Especially, because what I do is try not to duplicate unless I'm asked anything, even from the handcrafted gifts that I do. A lot of women in the churches use what we call lap scarves or lap hankies, and mine are signatured by bows. I have a signature hand-tied bow on every one of mine, different types of laces that I've used, different type of fabrics, brocades, silks, sometimes cottons. Cottons to me is just so plain, but I like the fancier fabrics, and my clients really like them. So you'll be able to see them on my website, being that I am in the mode of fixing Ashley's dress right now. We will be showing some of those things on our website, on our YouTube channel as well. It's a story in the Bible about a woman. Her name was Dorcas, and she was a dressmaker, and she lived in the town called Joppa. And what she did was to sew for the widows. She made their garments, their clothes, because back then everybody took care of the widows and the orphans. If your husband died and you had nobody, no brother or nothing to fill in, then everybody else in the town would fill in and take care of your need. And what she would do was oftentimes, fulfill that need by making clothes and giving them to the orphans or giving them to the widows. And what she did, she didn't do it for fame and glory or any of that. She did it because of the love of God in her heart. And because I love to sew like that, I fashioned myself after her, because there is an organization that I would like to get involved with, and that's Dress for Success. And what they do, they deal with battered women who are going back into the workforce. And what they have for them, you come to their locations and they'll give you a whole suit of clothing for nothing to go on job interviews. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they help you like set up those interviews too. But the main thing is that you have what you need to go out into the workforce to make you feel good about yourself. Because I think that it doesn't matter if you have on a pair of jeans that's ripped up from the leg all the way up, you know what I'm saying? If you feel good about yourself, then what you put on the outside is going to look good too, because of your attitude, how you wear it. So my thing is that I like for everybody that I deal with to be happy with their work. I know that life is what it is, and you're not going to please everybody all the time. I know that. I've come to learn that, and I used to have a really, soft heart about that when somebody frown up or something because they didn't like something. But then I have to realize too, it's just like my hairdresser used to say, look, you can tell me what you want. I can tell you whether it's going to fit you or not. But at the end of the day, this is what you have. You know what I'm saying? So you can't please everybody all the time. You can do your best. And this is what I do. I want when my clients leave me to be happy with what they have. You know what I'm saying? You can only take my suggestions. Just like in photography, you could say wear a certain thing because the lighting is like that. And the client says, no, I want to wear this. What do? You can see what the client wants to do. But inspirationally, I just take that inspiration from Dorcas. And I just want to give to the people what I have, the gift that God has given to me. I would like to share it with you. And what I'm doing now is just securing the lace onto the fashion fabric. And normally that's what you will call the outer fabric of the garment, the fashion fabric, when you're working with different pieces of material. Sometimes you can have a lining, and that would be on the inside of the garment, or like we're putting a lace on the top of it, or overlay. So this part would be called the fashion fabric, and this is the lace overlay. And that's just to give it a little more pizzazz. I would, and I could have done it by machine, but I didn't want to have a single line running through it because that would take away from the lace. Anything can be duplicated. Remember I said that my clients would send me a picture? Well, the birthday girl sent me this picture. And she said, I really, really like this, but I want pockets on my dress. So I said, okay, we can make that happen. This is the fabric that she picked out. It's called brocade. And because she's a heavy, heavy set, I added a little bit more pleats so that it will give her a nice little leg. And then she has her pockets, which are in the front. Rather than have her pockets in the side, which we normally have our pockets on the side seam, I didn't want her sticking her hands in her pockets and then that make her hips stick out. So rather than on the side, we put them basically in the front. So when she sticks her hands in her pockets, her hips won't pop out. And this is what she asked for. She sent me this, and this is what we've done. We've also added a little spin to it to make it more fashion forward for now. The front is a little high and the back is a little low. And again, another one of those invisible zippers. So you don't even know that the dress is zipped up until you see the tab on the top. An invisible zipper. Ashley sent a picture. She said, oh, I like this. This is what I want. I said, okay, we'll work it out. And this is the garment that you see me working with the lace. Now we brought her bodice down so that we can accentuate the scallops in the bottom of the lace, because it's so pretty, the edges, rather than have it just cut off at the top to bring it all the way down. So that's, anything can be duplicated, no matter what it is. This garment also has the feathers that go around the bottom of the hem. She has her feathers. I haven't put them on yet, but the feathers are there to be placed at the bottom of her dress. A lot of things that I do, people have already sent pictures and things like that, or they'll look up online or in a pattern book and see a pattern that they like and say, can you do this for me? Of course I can. God has given me that gift. I can duplicate anything. I thank God for what He's doing in my life right now, because I really love to sew. I want to introduce you to two members of my family. This is Mary and this is Martha. And they make the process work. I've also created a t-shirt line. Let me show you. Normally we don't duplicate anything, but the t-shirts are something that are going to be duplicated, but by number. They're hand painted, hand blinged. And we have various sizes from small to XXL. All you need to do is call and say which one it is that you want. And her name is Sister Woman. So you can order Sister Woman from Sister Woman number 1 through 12. This is called Deep Honey. Beautiful lace fabrics, brocade, silks. I like the fancier fabrics. I want you to be happy with the finished product.